Hi everyone, and welcome to our full NSHSS Membership 101 webinar. We're so excited to have you with us today. While we're giving a few more attendees a moment to connect, I'd love to introduce myself and share some quick announcements before we officially get started. My name is Anna Yarushina, and I'm the Marketing Optimization Manager and Ambassadors Coordinator here at NSHSS. It's truly a pleasure to kick things off today and to help welcome you into our vibrant community. First, a big congratulations to all our new members. You've joined a network of high-achieving students, and we are thrilled to have you with us. To the parents and prospective members who are joining us today, welcome. We're also glad that you're here. And a very special thank you to all our incredible NSHSS ambassadors who are joining us today to support student speakers. Your dedication and energy truly represent the heart of the NSHSS community, and we appreciate you. All right, today's webinar is all about helping you get the most out of your NSHSS membership. You'll hear from real student leaders, our ambassadors and Collegiate Council members, as well as scholarship winners who are going to share their own NSHSS journeys and their own insights. I'll also be joined by Alexis Anderson, our NSHSS Scholarship Administrator, to provide important information about scholarships and opportunities available to you. So please stay tuned. A couple of quick housekeeping notes before we begin. This webinar is being recorded, and everyone who registered will receive a link to the recording by email after the event. So please don't worry if you miss a part or you want to watch something later, you'll have this chance. We do encourage you, though, to stay with us live because this is your chance to ask questions directly to our team and to the student speakers. The link to the slide deck we're using today will also be shared in the chat at the very end of the meeting, so please be sure to stick around for that as well. Since this is a Zoom webinar, our cameras and microphones are off by default, but you can participate using the Q&A tab at the bottom of your screen. Feel free to type your questions there, and at any time during the session, we'll be answering them throughout the event and during the dedicated Q&A segment at the very end of the meeting. All right, I think that covers everything on my end. Now I'm thrilled to introduce your host for today's event, Nanika Manthana, our Ambassador Leadership Council President. Nanika is a senior at Palm Harbor University High School's IB program in Florida. She's very passionate about public policy and hopes to one day create impactful legislation. She's also an advocate for educational access. She's tutoring students in math and reading in her free time. And when she's not learning or leading, you can find her dancing, picking up new languages, or fostering dogs. So it's pretty inspiring, right? So without further ado, take it away, Nanika.
Thank you so much, Anna, for that warm introduction. And thank you all participants for showing up to our fall meet and greet webinar in order to really learn more about what NSHS means and what you can contribute as a member and how you can further your journey being an NSHSS participant. So in this webinar, we will discuss these following things, but before we go into this, we want to release a small poll about to see who is joining us today. So after the poll is released, you will see a little drop down asking you who is joining us and what is your description. So please fill out the most accurate description that you have for yourself. And then at the end, we will see who's joining us. But today in the webinar, we will be discussing these 5 key concepts. We're going to see how NSHSS members can receive all these benefits ranging from recognition and honors from the local level to the national level, how you can become a leader and also pursue volunteering, becoming a NSHSS member, some opportunities in college and career resources and how you can benefit this, being an NSHSS partner and also being able to have access to what NSHSS provides you in the fields of collegiate prep. We can go into events and travel abroad opportunities. And finally, we're going to end it off with scholarships, as well as have a special session with a scholarship winner who has received these benefits from NSHSS himself. So, those are going to be our key concepts today. And as you can see, in the webinar, we have a wide variety of people joining us. We have a good amount of new members, so hopefully all of you guys can learn more about what NSHSS means and what you can see coming into this honor society. And also we have a couple of parents as well, so this could be a great experience for you to join your own student in this honor society. So I hope you guys learn a lot more about what we can offer. And without further ado, I'm going to introduce our first speaker. So our first speaker is Antonio Pizza. He is an NSHSS Ambassador Council Vice President. Antonio is an NSHSS ambassador and a freshman at the University of Central Florida. He is an up-and-coming politician dedicated to improving his community, and he works on a numerous amount of projects from political campaigns to participating school clubs and activities. Anyway, he wants to be there to help his community. He will be pursuing his studies in political science, and in 2044, he wants to run for president of the United States. You have the deck, Antonio.
Oh boy. All right, guys. How's everyone doing tonight? I don't think you guys can answer your microphones on mute. So, first thing that we want to talk about is recognition. All of you guys who have formally signed up and joined, you should have received a kit. If not, it's coming in the mail. And if you're interested in finding out what's in that kit, you can scan that QR code right there. It's going to take you to this fancy TikTok video, short, like 15-second video going through what's in the kit. It's really cool. I just watched it. Along with that, it comes with a membership certificate. I always keep my certificates and I like to get them framed, and a letter from the co-founder, and a press release. Now, what some people like to do with the press release is send it to their local newspaper or send it to their school newspaper. And then inside that membership kit is also a lot of information about scholarships and the benefits and partners. As NHSS and SHSS, we offer scholarships. We also offer, I still get emails about them, webinars constantly. So it's a great tool if you're getting ready for college and learning about those next steps. I want to go to the next slide. So you can make it official. As I said, you can display your NSHSS certificate. You can send it to your school's newspaper, or local town newspaper. Along with some schools even has ceremonies. I know that NSHSS hosts one big ceremony every year, if I believe that's right. Yeah. So those are always fun, and you'll get emails about all of that where you can sign up for that big ceremony. I haven't gone to one personally, but I heard from other ambassadors how fun that ceremony is. And you can make a whole family weekend trip out of it, so it's really fun. Let me go to the next. No. Yeah. So you can add it to your applications and resume. So you can go to LinkedIn or Indeed, and you can add this as like a certification and onto your resume. It's out there as any other honor society, so it's similar to NHS, NTHS, NEHS. But what's unique about our honor society is that it's more than national, it's worldwide. So you're going to meet members who could be in a different country and all of that. So it's really cool because you get to get those opportunities to connect with people. So it definitely boosts your resume for college and for jobs even. And it offers certificates and training courses as well. So, yeah. So, as I said, it has college and scholarship applications. So, we have awards and training that you can do. You can put on your resume and LinkedIn. We also have kind of like to describe it as like programs under NSHSS. So you have the ambassador program. That's what I did. Then once you graduate high school, you have the opportunity to join the collegiate council, where you can mentorship and have student guidance and guide the next generation. You also can do the Success Beyond Academic certification. I did that one. It's very cool. They go over communication. You get a learn leadership skills, find out what kind of a leader you are. It's highly recommended. And then you have volunteering member event. So you learn how to public speak, you can network with people. I met Blaze through this program, and he's gonna be an actor one day. So, he could put me in a movie or something, wink, wink, Blaze. So it's a really cool group.
Hey, maybe when you're
And
president.
yeah, yeah. So it's a really fun group to meet different people and get all these opportunities. So volunteer opportunities, we have something really cool. I haven't done it because I don't have social media, but we have social media takeovers where basically you get the login to our ambassador social media. And basically, throughout the whole day, you can post and show your life and everything that you're doing and how you being an ambassador has impacted your life and changed it in so many ways. You also have speaking engagements. So, as an ambassador, you can get the chance or even contact us and be a speaker for webinars like this. Then you also have event support and leadership. So you, in a couple of years, could probably run for the what's the name of our council? We have a council. Forgot the name of it.
Ambassador Council.
Ambassador
Great.
Council. Thank you, Blaze. So the Ambassador Council, you can run for positions. I got VP, so it's highly awarded because you can another thing to put on your resume for college. Then you also have online volunteering, which I get emails about. So basically, NSHSS has teamed up with different organizations and nonprofits and companies that basically you can do things and get community service hours that also helps you networking. So if you want to go into like medical school, you could work with this medical nonprofit through NSHSS, get community service hours, and put that on your resume while also networking with that company or nonprofit. So yeah, the social media takeovers also offer some community service hours, and you can find out all of that information through the Slack, which ambassadors have the opportunity to join. That's all I got.
So thank you, Antonia, for talking about some of the volunteer opportunities and also recognition that you receive being a part of NSHSS. And now we're going to introduce our next speaker, Blaze Bowers, who is the NSHSS Ambassador Council Advocate. Blaze is an NSHSS ambassador and a freshman at Chapman University, an aspiring filmmaker, businessman, and entertainment attorney. Blaze currently works at Langley LLP as a law clerk, video editor, and podcast manager. He will be pursuing his studies in business administration in the future. So take it away, Blaze.
All right, everyone, thank you for having me. So for a little context, we have 3 leadership programs here within NSHSS. They all perform semi-different functions, and they're all at different stages in your life, your career, and your education. I am a part of 2 of these programs. I'm a part of the Ambassador Program and the Collegiate Council Program. The Ambassador Program is for high schoolers. However, I'm currently helping out with the Ambassador Council and starting to make that transition more towards the Collegiate Council. But right now, I'm serving on the Ambassador Council. Now, the Ambassador Council it's a group of COAs. We have 2 VPs. We have me, Ambassador Advocate. We have a president, and then we also have a social media manager. We all serve different functions to help improve the Ambassador program, push forward its purpose, and whatnot. I'll talk a little bit more about that when I get into the Ambassador program. The next one's the Collegiate Council. This is more for college students. This can be whether you're a freshman, a senior, anywhere in the stage of college, you can join the Collegiate Council. The Collegiate Council is a much smaller program, so it's a little more intimate. It's a lot of focusing on how you can improve yourself in college, building up your skills for career, that sort of thing. And then after graduation, you can join the Fellows Program. The Fellows Program is for postgraduate students, whether you're in getting a master's, a doctorate, or starting your career. And with the Fellows Program, I don't know too much about the Fellows Program, but They do a little bit more they do a lot of mentoring stuff for the collegiate council program. They help a lot with NSHSS initiatives, that sort of stuff. But I haven't quite gone there yet, so I don't know if I can speak too much on that. All right, next slide. So the ambassador program, we actually have undergone a lot of changes recently, and we're working towards possibly having some more, wink wink. But the just out of the basic stuff here, anyone who is a sophomore, junior, or senior can apply. You have to be an NSHSS member. And why join? Because it's awesome. But more specifically, you gain leadership experience, you get to connect with your peers, and you can also make a difference in your community. There's a lot you can do within the ambassador program. It's very flexible. You can learn about a lot of experiences that you can gain. You can promote different volunteer opportunities and learn about more volunteer opportunities. And you can help connect closer with NSHSS. It's also looks good for resumes. So there are a couple of responsibilities, things that we do. I am going to add a couple of extra things, so there are some updates to that part. But you can promote NSHSS through programs and scholarships, so that's a lot of social media stuff. You can organize school projects and school events. We would sometimes help with that. We don't do that as much, but we're hopefully maybe we'll start moving towards that route a bit. We'll see. Take over NSHSS social media. This is a really big part of the program. You get to go onto our current NSHSS social media account and post about your day, post about all the stuff you do and whatnot. And then you can also network with student leaders in the Slack workspaces. So we currently have about, I want to say 200 or so active members within the ambassador program, a little bit more than that, I'm rounding down, that you can work with and do different projects with. I've met so many incredible people, including Antonio Nanica, who are right here. And yeah, the application period, we have 2 application periods. First one is the fall. This is the one that's coming up soon. It's August 15th to October 1st. And so if you're interested in joining, please submit the application as soon as possible. You have time, but please. And then the second application period is spring, February 15th and April 1st. Now, going back to the key responsibilities, we do have some new stuff. The Ambassador Council is a new initiative we have. Then we also have support groups, which we just recently started. Basically, with the support groups, you can have a couple of little extra responsibilities depending on the group to help further the function of the Ambassador program. Just to give you a little look at it, I manage 2 of those programs, one that's Slack engagement and one that's Senior Mentors. Senior Mentors is for ambassadors who've been in the program for a little bit longer to help mentor new incoming ambassadors. So you will, any of you who are thinking of joining the ambassador program this next cohort, you will get access to those ambassador mentors, the senior mentors. And then the Slack engagement team focuses on, oh, thank you. Really quickly, the Slack engagement team focuses on helping to promote activity within the program and all that stuff. But you can see that if you join the program. The Collegiate Council is similar to the Ambassador program, but like I said, it's a lot smaller. Any current college students or university students can join. And then if you are a senior and you've got accepted into a college and you're starting to make that transition, you can join. I officially joined the Collegiate Council before I actually got to college, but I was already admitted, so you can do that as well. It's very similar why join. You can gain a lot of leadership experience. You get to mentor high school students. We're currently working on doing that a little bit more. Not going to talk on that too much. And a big part of it that's really sets aside from the ambassador program is expanding your professional network. You get to work a lot closer with the fellows program and you get to do a lot more stuff like that. And you get to build more of a professional network. So key responsibilities, guiding high school students on scholarships and college life. Like I said, it's a little bit more of the mentoring high school schoolers that we're trying to move closer towards. You can introduce VIP speakers at NSHSS events. That includes online and in person. So if you go to in-person events, that's a nice benefit that you get as a collegiate council member. You can serve as a guest speaker on ambassador leadership meetings. That one is pretty cool as well. And then you can also serve as guest speaker on panels. So panels like this. You can take over social media events just like the ambassador program. Very like the function is exactly the same as the ambassador program. You get to participate in outreach, blogging, mentorship opportunities. So very in a similar way to the ambassador program, except since there's a bit of a smaller group, you get a little bit more reach. There's a little bit more experience there. And then we do have quarterly leadership meetings through the Collegiate Council, and through that we get to meet and talk with fellows. We get to do that's really where a lot of the expand your professional network comes in. So those meetings are always really cool. All right, next slide. Like I said, I don't have any super secret insights in the fellows program. I don't know as much about the inner workings in there, so I'll just kind of give you what the slide gives you. But Anyone who has an undergraduate degree or at least 2 years of work experience. So if you graduate high school and you don't end up going to college, but you end up working for 2 years, you can still join the fellows program. So you get to stay connected with NSHSS. You get to mentor future leaders within the Collegiate Council and the Ambassador Program, and you get to expand your professional network. Also, to my knowledge, you fellows do get to do a lot of hands-on stuff within the NSHSS. Alexis is nodding her head. I'm gonna trust her. She knows a lot more about that than me. And then some key opportunities is, again, mentoring high school students and collegiate NSHSS members. You may be noticing a pattern here. We're very big on mentorship, so that's going to come up a lot. Participating in webinars, networking events, Scholars Day. If you haven't heard about Scholars Day, it is, I can't really speak on it personally. I haven't been yet. I hope to go eventually. But living in California, it's kind of a little bit of a distance for me. You get to connect professionally with NSHSS lifetime members. So again, there's a lot of that growing your professional network sort of thing. And you can contribute to the NSHSS Fellows LinkedIn group. So that's kind of more the secret part of the program. Like it's a little bit more, that part is a little bit more separate from the rest of the other two support leadership programs. And yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. So thank you so much, Blaze, for talking about some of the programs that NSHSS ambassadors and collegiate members, they can explore these opportunities that we have for our members. And now we're going to transition to talking more about travel opportunities and college resources. So we're going to welcome Wishan Mala, who is a NSHS ambassador and senior at Asiles Academy, passionate about medicine, equity, and education. She plans to major in medicine biology with the goal of becoming a surgeon serving underserved communities. Outside the classroom, Wishan finds joy in teaching children, mentoring students, and volunteering in her community. Her hobbies, such as kickboxing, crochet, and soccer, reflect her creativity, discipline, and team spirit. Take it away, Wishan.
Thank you so much for the warm welcome, and let's begin. So NSHSS also has like virtual learning. You can expand your knowledge anytime and anywhere. That's the best part about it. So we have free webinars. Some of you might already have received the emails like FAFSA 101, how to write a college essay, all of that. You can learn from industry experts and professionals on careers, college, and personal development topics. And SHSS also has a blog where you can have articles about leadership. Sometimes students also like to promote their academic excellence, academic stuff, and career success. We also have the Success Beyond Academies program, which Antonio also said. We develop essential skills that are way above the classroom. So the QR codes below are just the free links to free webinars, NSHS program, the blog, and the program. So NSHSS also has college prep resources. So you can get ready for college while you're still in high school. We have free college prep webinars. So FAFSA, college essays, Common App, all of that. Again, with the NSHSS blog, there's like essay writing, admissions, and how to select a really good school. Some exclusive partners we have for college prep are College Aid Pro. It's like financial planning for college. Smart Track, it's free guidance on reducing your college expenses. So it takes you from dorming costs, housing costs, everything. It helps you. And then Method Learning, it's prep for SAT and ACT. It's very helpful to boost your scores much higher. Okay, so this is going to expand on the partners, but the test prep and college funding, like I said, Method Learning, very good for SAT or ACT tutoring. Smart Track, it's free and it's really helpful for like funding access, College Aid Pro. It's really good for planning, budgeting, all of that. Some career and internship opportunities. The intern group, it's global and virtual, the best part about it, and you have internships to do. And then United Planet, it's also an international volunteering experience. So no matter where you are on Earth, you can still volunteer. Some special discounts and offers we have, Med School Coach. It's a free virtual physician shadowing. I actually did it and it's actually amazing. the Zoo Tampa wildlife conservation experiences. So it's really nice if you're into veterinary, animals, all of that. And then Liberty University, I'm pretty sure this is more like dual enrollment. I might be wrong, but you have like 300 plus academic programs. And the best part about NSHSS is new discounts and new opportunities are always being added. So keep a lookout. NSHSS also has academic tours. Some past tours we did was the California College Tour, which was in July. They got to see like colleges in California, UCLA, UC Berkeley, I'm pretty sure Stanford. And then we also have the Ivy League tour more on the East Coast. And we have 3 tour dates available in June and in July. So I would actually recommend going there. We get to visit prestigious universities across the US, both West Coast and East Coast. And you also get to connect with other ambassadors who are also in the college journey. So it's really fun to connect with everybody.
Hey, thank you so much, Rishon, for talking about the college opportunities that you have with NSHSS. And now we're going to talk more about travel and going abroad that we offer our ambassadors. So NSHSS takes pride in the large amount of network and also the global community that we have here. We have almost 2 million young global scholars since 2002 from when it was founded. And we represent almost 26,000 high schools, not just in the United States, but in over 170 countries around the world. So it is obviously a very global honor society that is very beneficial, especially for our like-minded and also high-achieving peers that we hope to admit into our NSHSS community. We love to engage and we love to have these leadership programs and development programs in order to ensure that our members actually do have the best opportunities. And our leadership programs consist of a wide range of opportunities such as going through chat platforms, participating in online meetings such as this one, as we offer a multitude of webinars and a multitude of programs such as the ambassador program and the collegiate program we discussed before. And we also have live in-person events such as the tours, such as the college tours, and also some of the Scholars Day and college visits that NSHSS partners with in order to make sure that our young scholars can have the opportunities for success in the future. We obviously love seeing mentorship, as that is a very big part of what NSHS is and what makes us so special. A big part of this is we have a huge variety of scholarships, such as the Be More grant recipients, and also other scholarships that are a lot more niche in order to give the best opportunities for the members that we have. Most of our scholarship range to around $1,000 to $5,000, and usually the more competitive scholarships, such as the Be More grant scholarships, are $10,000. So we definitely want to give the best chance to the members that we have here. We also have opportunities beyond membership. So beyond being a member, beyond being an ambassador, we have the chance to honestly just be networking and to have a collaborative environment with your NSHSS alumni. And I think this is the most important part, as members can network and see other NSHSS members connect and be with each other. So some of the upcoming member events that we actually have around the United States are the college event at Columbia. This is on September 20th, 2025. And there's another one at UCLA in 2026. The date is wrong, but it's March 7th, 2026. And these consist of college fairs, educational sessions, and most importantly, the member recognition ceremony, which is a big part of why NSHSS has these events at colleges in order to give our members that collegiate prep. And you may be questioning, why should I attend? Why should I go to these colleges? But the biggest reason is to be recognized for your academic success, to make sure that you start early on your college journey, and also to just gain insight and connect with your fellow NSHSS members who also show up to these community events to celebrate your achievements. Some travel abroad opportunities that we actually have are the Noble Week Tour, which is a very prominent tour and very prominent travel abroad opportunity that we have here, where NSHSS members can go to Stockholm to celebrate the Nobel Prize ceremony and explore Swedish culture for a week. And this happens every December, but we have a bunch of other opportunities such as the US Embassy Q&A session that we have in this Noble Tour. I know sometimes we go see universities abroad, and with these travel abroad opportunities, it's very cool to see all the other NSHSS ambassadors, and also interesting to see the background works of something you may have not seen if you weren't an NSHS ambassador or NSHSS member. So that wraps up more of the information session of what NSHSS is, and now we're going to transition into scholarships. So we're going to welcome Alexis Anderson, who is our NSHSS Scholarship Administrator.
Hey guys, thanks so much for joining today. Like she said, I'm the scholarships administrator here at NSHSS. A little background on me: I graduated from Georgia State University in 2023 with a bachelor's in political science. I've been with NSHSS for about 1.5 years now, maybe coming up on 2. Yeah. And I get the opportunity to meet students from all over the world, all different backgrounds, and help them with college funding. So that's something really cool about my job. Can I do the next slide, please? Alrighty, so NSHSS and its partners offer more than $2.5 million a year in scholarships. We have scholarship opportunities for all levels of high school and college, so it's never too early or too late to start applying. We have opportunities over a wide variety of disciplines. So if you're an athlete or you're an artist, or you're really into technology and coding or STEM, chances are that we have an opportunity for you. We have more than 30 programs that open throughout the course of the year on a rolling basis. So if you don't see something that you like immediately, just keep checking back. There's always going to be something new available. So yeah. Alrighty, as far as eligibility is concerned, like I said, there's stuff open for all grade levels of high school and college. Vast majority of them are for high school students, especially in those junior and senior kind of age ranges. Some of our scholarships are GPA specific. You have to have a 3.5 or above. Some of them don't have a GPA requirement, so just pay close attention to the eligibility requirements in the description if you want more details on that. We have 2 different kinds of scholarship, like 2 big umbrellas. So we have public scholarships, which are ones that everybody can apply to, member or not. And then we have private scholarships, which are member specific. So only people in the NSHSS community can apply. Those obviously have a much smaller audience and they're a little bit less competitive than those public scholarships. So that's another benefit, is that you're not competing against as many people for those slots. All of our scholarships are going to require 1 to 2 letters of recommendation. That can be from an educator, from a school counselor, it can be from a coach, a scout leader. If you have a part-time job after school, it can be from your boss, anybody that's not related to you that can speak on behalf of your academic and leadership abilities, can be your recommender. They're all going to have an essay component from 500 to 800 words with the prompts depending on what the topic is of the scholarship. We require an academic resume, a color headshot, and a transcript for all of the scholarships. So if you're thinking about applying, just go ahead and get those key materials together. And then you just have to write your essays. That'll make things a lot smoother for you. Like I said, our applications open on a rolling basis throughout the year with 2 major periods. So we have scholarships that open in the spring and scholarships that open in the fall. So just keep an eye out as things rotate during the year. our decisions are released 6 to 8 weeks after the program closes. So not 6 to 8 weeks after when you submitted your application, but rather after that deadline date. That's when all of those decisions will come out. And we are based in Atlanta, so all of our applications and everything that we do is always going to be on Eastern time. So maybe make sure if you're in a different time zone that you keep track of that as well. As far as disbursements go for our scholarships, if you are a high school senior or a freshman in college, or you're going into your freshman year of college, we will send the funds directly to your university upon graduation and enrollment. So we'll send a check and a letter that has all of the terms and everything, what semester you want your funds applied to, and all of that information straight to your school, so you never have to deal with it. If you win a scholarship when you are a underclassman, so freshman, sophomore, junior, you will get the scholarship funds sent to you directly via check. And then you can save that for your college tuition. You can either keep it in like a high yield savings account, you can put it in a 529 account. We also have some resources on information on different kinds of savings accounts for college if you're interested in that. And you can apply your scholarship funds to any university you choose. It can be a trade school, it can be a community college, it can be an overseas school, whatever it may be. You can use your scholarship funds anywhere in the world that you choose to go to school. Alrighty, and then with me on the call today, I have Savin, who is actually one of our scholarship winners. He was the recipient of the Hometown Hero Scholarship last year. He's a student leader, a researcher, an advocate for racial equality. He's the founder and executive director of Literature Diversified, a global youth-led organization with 430 plus members in 11 countries. He has conducted research at Harvard, UCLA, and Vanderbilt on racial disparities in education and criminal justice, and his work has earned national honors, including the Diana Award, Prudential Emerging Visionary Award, and the Princeton Prize in Race Relations. He's also involved in multiple community advocacy leadership roles, including serving as the president of the Tennessee Student Equity Leadership Board, chairman of his state representatives Youth Advisory Council, and on his state's Education Trust Youth Commission, leading statewide advocacy for education reform. Very, very impressive kid. Savin, do you want to say hi?
Oh, hi. Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah. Oh, are we starting with the Q&A?
Yes. Okay. So he's going to be here to answer some kind of questions that we get frequently from scholarship winners. Stuff whenever we do scholarship webinars and scholarship specific questionnaires and panels and things, these are the questions that we see asked a lot. So we're going to run through these. And then after this session, if you have any additional questions about scholarships or NSHSS in general, you can drop them in the chat and we can answer those one by one as well. Okay, so first we can start with, how did you make your essay stand out? So just for reference, scholarship applications get like hundreds of applications. So the essay is really the most important part of your application, where you can really make a difference and stand out to your reader. So any tips on how to make your application stand out?
Yeah, so I think like the first step is definitely knowing like the context of what you're applying for. So I think a lot of the NSHSS scholarships for members are about like how you're like involved in like community impact. And so the specific like scholarship I applied for was like a kind of highlighting like a big project that you led to like produce change in your community. And so Ms. Anderson said earlier, a lot of what I do is involved in racial equity. And so thinking about like, you know, like my resume, like my recommender, like all of those things already say like kind of all the things I do. And so a big piece of it for me was sharing why I'm so invested in racial equity beyond just, you know, being a student of color in the South, and even giving context about that as well. So the project I led that I talked about for that scholarship was basically an inclusive education platform I started my freshman year to build diverse history and English curriculum for students, especially in Title I schools in the Southern United States. After I noticed the racial inequities in how curriculum is taught in humanities fields as a student in the South. And so I really talked about my personal experiences with it and the issues that I saw within my community and my reflections on those issues. And so it really brought like life and vitality beyond just like kind of numbers to really like kind of I think tell that more compelling story. Um, and yeah, and then also don't be afraid to showcase like your perspectives, right, in a really human way. Like in the age of AI, I think it's really like tempting for a lot of kids to get like, caught up with a lot of scholarship applications, and use AI, and sometimes they'll win, but like genuinely like human voice stands out so much. And like AI is not a good creative writer. Like AI is so bad at creative writing. And so like really just like even if it's like not like polished or perfect, like honestly, like if you sit and write it in one setting, you'll like for in terms of creative writing, like I can promise you you'll do a better job than ChatGPT. And then yeah, so that's really it kind of for the essay, I think.
Awesome. And then I think a lot of students get confused as far as resumes are concerned for high school kids. Do you have any tips on what you should put on your resume and what you shouldn't put on your resume as a high school student?
Mhm. Yeah, this is a really good question. Because this is definitely a question that I've had for a lot of things. And so I would say don't make it longer than 2 pages. I think 1 to 2 pages is good. And I think that like for a high school resume, it's okay to be 2 pages. Even though like you might hear from your parents like, oh, like 1 page is like for like jobs and stuff. But like for things like high school stuff, especially if you're leading a lot of like maybe like unusual community initiatives, then you want to be able to really explain your impact. And so I like the way I formatted my resume was like I put my school, I put some like academic stats, especially like if I had any like standardized tests that weren't like included in other parts of my application. And then I kind of put my school clubs and leadership in like a kind of smaller thing, and I didn't really describe them since those are kind of known. I just put my title and the organization. And then I kind of divided my outside of school stuff by like leadership and social impact research, and then like political advocacy work, and then like any academic enrichment programs I did, and kind of explained them, what impact I had, really showing impact, really using quantitative numbers, to really highlight like what specific impact you had to the admissions committee, talking about what you did, and kind of like really being mindful of what theme you're showing. And so I really focused a lot on like the core ideals that were important to me, which were like advancing justice, equity, racial justice, immigrant rights, POC equity, kind of stuff like that. And then I also did put down a lot of awards I'd won that weren't listed in other parts of my application for my work, which kind of also gave validation, for what I'd done academically and, with my social impact initiatives.
Awesome. Yeah, I think a good way to think about your essay versus your resume is that your application should kind of read as a narrative about who you are, and whatever questions don't get answered by your resume, you can fill it in with your essay and vice versa. So it's good to highlight like 1 or 2 things in your essay, but you don't need to like list everything on your resume in your essay, and you don't need to list absolutely everything about you on your resume either. So kind of use those two together to fill in all of the gaps in your application. Okay, so what is your strategy for balancing all of the crazy, super cool things that you're doing and applying to scholarships and doing school? Do you have any tips for making it all work?
Yeah, I definitely think that like in the pecking order of things that I would prioritize, school is definitely the most important. And then also having time for health and personal well-being and mindful connections with other people, friendships, like your personal hobbies, exercise, like I'd say, well, I think ideally in an ideal world that might be more important than school, but I think those are the two most important things. And then after that, engaging in I think like your community initiatives, which will ultimately like probably lead you to even being able to apply to like kind of scholarships. And then like, once you do all those things, I think like some like a mentor in my life told me like whatever time is remaining, like, that's what you can use for kind of other things like applying to scholarships. And so I definitely don't think it's something you should like beat yourself up over. But I do think it is really important throughout your high school career to apply for awards for the work you're doing. And like also, I really, really, really would not pay attention to acceptance rates. Like I've throughout my high school career, like I've been really, really lucky to receive like a lot of extremely selective awards and scholarships that were like that I'd always seen like as a freshman on TikTok or something that were like, oh my God, like this is like a 1% acceptance rate, or like, oh, like only like crazy people like win things like that. But like oh like it really like I don't know, like I don't want to say I think a lot of organizations are telling the truth about their application numbers, but like like if you put together like a good application, like I genuinely think you'll have a good shot, and you're doing like good community work, I think you'll have a good chance at winning a lot of stuff. And I'll talk about this later, but like with my NSHSS scholarship, it was the first and only scholarship I applied to, and I got it. And that was true for a lot of my friends who actually recommended NSHSS to me. So like even with NSHSS scholarships, like a lot of people win, like they're very, very accessible. And so yeah, definitely be confident enough to apply, especially if you're doing community work. Also, I did focus a lot on only applying for on applying to scholarships that were centered around like awarding people for things that like I did. So like again, like a lot of things I did were social, political, racial advocacy. And so I applied for like youth equity work. And so I like applied mainly for grants and awards that were based on that. And I think that's like definitely like something that helped me be successful. Like knowing what you're applying for and not just like sending to like, you know, like a random scholarship. It's also definitely harder to find things if you're not a senior. Like, you know, like I was applying for a lot of things my like sophomore and junior year. And especially my sophomore year, couldn't find as many things. But NSHSS, that's one of the great things about you know, applying for scholarships through them is like you can apply at any point. I believe sophomore to senior, or like, you know, as a sophomore and junior, you can still apply to their scholarships. Um, and then yeah, like I think that also applying to scholarships and like the process of writing essays can be a really reflective process, because a lot of them will ask you about your own like leadership and about your own experiences with like leading organizations, with how you've grown, and they're great ways to reflect on like the present and also the future. Like I remember for the Princeton Prize in Race Relations, when I was discussing my work with Literature Diversified and the Tennessee Student Equity Leadership Board, one of the questions they specifically asked for both initiatives on the application that I explained was, what is your future leadership plan? And even though in my head I might have had a leadership plan like 2 years out in advance when I'm in college, because like the question was focused on like when you go to college, how will your advocacy work? Like how will you sustain your these initiatives that you built? I had to like actually kind of put that into paper and think about the specifics of how I want to move forward to continue that the work I've done in high school is not only sustained for these few years, but can also blossom after I graduate high school, and hopefully even beyond that. Um, and so, yeah, I also think it's a really, I do think that applying for things is a reflective process if done well, but I also don't think it's something that should be like your number one priority over bigger things in your high school journey.
Yeah, I usually give students the advice to start small and just give yourself plenty of time. So space things out. Don't try to apply to 10 things the night before they're due, because the quality of your application will reflect in that. So if you just set like 10, 15 minutes aside every day for a couple of months to like slowly chip away at some applications and stuff like that, it won't feel as overwhelming. So just space things out as much as you can, do your research super early, and just give yourself plenty of time, and it won't seem as daunting and overwhelming. So I know you kind of touched on this a little bit, but did you start applying to scholarships like a little bit when you were a freshman, sophomore, and then just kind of like increased the amount the closer that you got to your senior year? Do you wish you started earlier, later?
No, I think I started pretty good. So my freshman year, there's almost really nothing open for freshmen, and I wouldn't recommend freshmen to like apply for scholarships. I think like you should be like doing like work in your community first and like figuring out what you're interested in. And so my freshman year was when I started doing a lot of like getting involved with policy research and start joining community-based nonprofits and organizations, and then also starting to lead organizations and join clubs in my school, which is a very common experience for freshmen. And I kind of figured out early on that I was interested between like the intersection of like kind of social and political work and racial equity, but various other kind of things around that as well. And so I met with a lot of seniors who I connected with on like LinkedIn and other people who were like kind of living like like had the awards that I had like researched and wanted to apply for. And so like I made like my freshman year, I mainly just made lists of things that I wanted to apply for, and then worked more on like building up the work so that way I would be a strong applicant for them. And I spoke to a lot of older people who had done things I wanted and were at the colleges that I wanted to go to, so I could like kind of make that a reality. And then my sophomore year, I really applied to a lot of things because I like there are a good amount of things you can apply to your sophomore year. And then I was pretty successful my sophomore year. And then my junior year, I applied to a few more stuff, including like the NSHSS scholarship, and then I've applied to a few scholarships. But yeah, I think the majority of scholarships open your senior year, like most scholarships and stuff. and they're usually right after college apps or concurrent with college apps. So I'm definitely going to be applying to a lot of scholarships to pay for my education this year. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm excited for that. And then in terms of like the NSHSS, like kind of specific stuff, like I found out about NSHSS through two people I met at a program. I did actually for another scholarship I won. I was at the summit for it, and I met them, and they were both involved in NSHSS initiatives, and one of them is at Duke on a full ride, and the other is at Stanford. So they're both doing great for themselves. And they both won a girl, I think she won like $6,000 or $7,000 to NSHSS scholarships, and the boy won the Be More grant for $10,000. And so again, like NSHSS scholarships really are like these are real, like these are very accessible. A lot of people win them, and they basically just told me that it was NSHSS was a great way to get scholarships, especially if you're not yet a senior. And some of the only organizations that like really make scholarships accessible for people that aren't yet seniors. And so then I ended up signing up to be a member over the summer. And then I applied for a scholarship like almost right after I signed up to be a member, the Hometown Hero Scholarship. And it was the first one I applied for. And then I ended up getting it a few weeks later. And so it was really lucky. And also it kind of shows how accessible NSHSS is. And also the scholarships are only open to members of the community. And so they're definitely less competitive than like open scholarships, like she said, which is really a testament to NSHSS's like focus on their community. And yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I think I know which student that you're talking about. That's funny. Okay, so as far as letters of recommendation are concerned, how do you go about asking for a letter of recommendation? What should you give your recommender ahead of time? How much time should you give them when it comes to applying to colleges, scholarships, things like that? How do you approach that whole situation? Because I think a lot of students underestimate the power of a letter of recommendation. So do you have any tips for getting a really strong one?
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. I think that the main reason I've gotten into so many like programs and scholarships that are really selective is because of my recommendation letters. I usually give my recommendation letters like a template of the core values that I want to highlight through my application. And like also like guys, like like I feel like a lot of high schoolers will just like be like, oh, can you write me a recommendation letter for this? And like they might at most give a resume, like that being on the top side. But like even if you just give a resume, like you're already gonna be providing your resume to like you know an admissions committee. And like yes, rehashing the resume is sometimes important if they're the only scholarship writer because it validates your work, but it doesn't give any extra insight beyond that. And so in an even worse case, many high schoolers will just ask for a recommendation letter. And like I mean I know a lot of people in this call are like busy adults or busy students, and so while that might seem like a normal like thing to do, you have to realize like your like recommendation letter writer is just like a normal human being, and like it's already like you write essays about yourself, like you're tasked with writing essays about yourself, and it's like hard to write about yourself, let alone another person to write truly unique insightful things about you that build on a narrative that you might know but that they don't even know. And so I always give my recommendation letter writers very detailed templates of what I want them to, or what I hope they can focus on, any key qualities I want them to highlight, kind of what my application is, kind of the story I'm trying to tell through my application. And I usually will meet or call with them at least once or twice, depending on the program, so they can really like know my goals. And then also definitely make sure you thank your recommendation letter writer because they're taking a lot of time to support you and they're not being paid for it. And I'd also get them a handwritten note, and a $25 gift card is usually in the realm of like helpful, but also still professional. And so, yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, the more detail that you can give your recommender, the better. If you give them like a statement of purpose, tell them what you're applying for and why you think you'd be a good fit, and all of that stuff, the more in depth that they can speak on behalf of your character from like a third party's perspective, and fill in those gaps in your resume that can't be covered by your essay and your resume and your transcript and all of those things. You want to fill in as many gaps as possible and give like a full picture. So the more details that you give to your recommender and the more time that you give them, don't ask them the night before it's due or anything like that, because again, that will reflect in the quality and it's just not super polite anyway. The better off that you're going to be. So
Yeah, and then
thank
I
you so
also want
much.
to touch on like more. Oh, sorry. Are you okay
No,
if
you're
I
good. Go
that's
ahead.
not the question?
Go
But like,
ahead.
yeah, like I definitely think that like I know a lot of people are applying like either as like prospective members or like new members, and like as a pretty new member actually like a year ago, like I definitely have gained more out of NSHSS than like I've gained a lot from it, like both like quite literally monetarily, like I like have earned back in scholarships much more than the membership fee, and know so many peers who have, but also in terms of like the community, like through like once I got the scholarship, I got to join this like really cool group me channel, and a lot of the students are at universities that I'm applying for as I navigate the college process as a senior. So I've been able to reach out and connect with people through that, which is really interesting. And then also like you're going to get access to a lot of webinars and resources about the college admissions process and standardized testing, which I think one of the speakers touched on earlier. And those are really helpful tools. And many of them are from like former admissions officer. Like I think I attended a personal statement one on writing your college essay from like a former Yale admissions officer, I think, which was so insightful because that's like not really something you can like find, like those, that's like so rare. And something like that, like to meet with a former Yale admissions officer normally would cost like thousands of dollars, and like through the community where I was able to do that for free. And so I also think it is what you put into it though. So I would definitely recommend, like as a member, like being proactive with following up on NSHSS's opportunities and also with applying to scholarships.
Yes, definitely. It's definitely one of those things that you get out of it what you put into it. There's so many resources available to you. While we're on the topic of essays and things like that, we actually have a webinar in a couple of weeks specifically about college admissions essays, and some tips and stuff from a couple of NSHSS college students who just went through that process or have a lot of insights. So if you're interested in that, that's coming in the next couple of weeks. Yeah, thank you so much, Savin. That was really awesome. You have some really great insights. Does anybody have any questions related to what Savin's doing or scholarships or NSHSS or anything like that that we didn't cover? You can type it in the chat. Okay, it looks like not. Well, if you think of anything that we didn't cover, that you're curious about, you please feel free to send an email to scholarships@nshss.org. It's on the scholarships page. It's all the way down there at the bottom. Or to any of the other NSHSS email addresses. But if you send it to scholarships, then I can see it and I can help you directly if you have a scholarship specific related question. So thank you so much, Savin. That was really awesome. You have some really great insights. I'm really glad we got to include you in the discussion today.
Before we go,
Yes, thank you. Yeah.
before we go, I put my LinkedIn in the chat. So if anyone wants to add me on LinkedIn and talk, I put it in there. I'm big on LinkedIn.
Great. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Alexis and Salwin, for having that discussion on scholarships and more about what NSHSS truly looks for in scholarships and some advice. And right now we have a small Q&A session. If you guys have anything you have questions on, please put in the Q&A section of the chat, and we will look at that to answer any questions that any of you have. But apart from that, if there are no questions, then I think that's a wrap.
There's one in the chat. How do
So-
you find out about volunteering opportunities?
So the volunteer opportunities, usually what I've noticed is a lot of them are just sent to your email. So check your email. Not, I know you're gonna get a bunch of them from NSHSS, but always glance at them, look to see if they're important, look if they're to see if there's something you're interested in. Because I know there was one that came out that was like, are you interested in climate change and saving the environment? Sign up here. Or NHSSS has partnered with this law firm offering these guidance and community service hours. So always glance at the emails.
Honestly, you can find volunteer opportunities in so many places. If you join the ambassador program, then we have lots of those that you can find. We have a whole channel in our Slack that's just volunteering. So you can, like, people just post volunteering opportunities. We'll have fellows and collegiate council members in there to post opportunities that you can join. I think I've found like maybe 3 or 4, I want to say, volunteering opportunities that I've done through there. I'm losing count. Then you can also find stuff in your community. You can find a lot of stuff on LinkedIn. I know I'm repping the LinkedIn. But yeah, like there's volunteering opportunities in a lot of different places. So look around, keep your eyes open.
For sure, it's really easy to find these volunteering opportunities all over the place. And in NSHSS, definitely look for the emails or for the Slack ambassador channel if you are an ambassador, if you want to be. I know there is a question saying, is there any way to get in touch with our speakers? So if you guys want to drop your emails or drop your LinkedIn like Blaze did in the chat, then that would be a great way to have the attendees get a hold of you guys if that's of interest to you. So I think that would be cool to have for our attendees. Yeah, but any other questions?
In case you don't have LinkedIn, I'll also put my email.
While we wait for questions or anything like that, so this is just some of our social media platforms: Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and also the NSHSS LinkedIn profile for anyone to reach out to for any questions, to reach out to any speakers, and also just to like follow the NSHSS journey if that is something you're interested in pursuing in the future. So definitely scan the QR codes to follow our pages and to just learn more beyond the webinar. Yep. And we attach the slide link into the chat. So yeah. Okay. Well, I don't see any more questions coming in. So that would probably be a wrap on today's webinar. Thank you everyone for joining. It was a great webinar, and I thank all the speakers who took time
Oh,
out of
we have one more.
Oh, we do?
One last question.
Oh, it's okay. Do I have a minimum time as an ambassador to participate in the specific programs? I don't believe you need to be a member for any specific time, especially to be in the ambassador program. For collegiate, you definitely do have to graduate high school in order to be a part of the collegiate program. But to be an ambassador, you can apply as long as you're already a member.
Yeah, and then stuff like the at like SBA and that kind of stuff, like you don't need to have been for a certain amount of time. It just more depends on like what grade you are in for different opportunities, that sort of thing. But there's not going to be anything that's like, oh, you have to be a member for 2 years.
So it's pretty open to all. Okay, well, thank you everyone for coming, and that would be the end of our webinar, and I hope you guys learned a lot more about NSHSS and hope you guys take away more than what you came from, and we hope to see you next time. So, yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Goodbye.
you.
Bye, guys.